Welcome to something to talk about. Welcome to something to talk about.
Hi, welcome to something to talk about, and I have another what if. I have a what if small council for you. You know that because you already saw this picture. You clicked on it, or maybe you didn't click on it. But what if small council? If Aemon Targaryen becomes king, if Stinger had killed Jaehaeys the First in 84 AC. So what is all this? Well, this is a Song of Ice and Fire lore, right? This is those Game of Thrones books, and nestled inside Fire and Blood Volume 1. In the middle of Aegon, maybe not middle, but whatever, during, not Aegon, Jaehaeys' being a king, Jaehaeys' reign. I'm going to struggle talking, aren't I? It's going to be one of those vids. He has a fight with Braxton Beesbury, over the whole Sarah Targaryen thing, right? So they have a trial by combat, and Braxton's like, which one of these old men is going to fight me? And Jaehaeys is like, this old man. And he's like 49 at the time or something. And Jaehaeys ends up killing Stinger. So I did a video for Stinger, and in it I said, you guys want me to just do a what if he died here, and we'll just do an Aemon Targaryen what if? Well, even before that video came out, I already started writing this because I convinced myself that would be really fun. So let's just do it, man. Let's go. What is this? So I will be making what if videos in the vein of small councils. This stemmed from a comment from Samuel Coombs, who commented on the Daemon Blackfyre Kingsguard vid asking for a small council for him. This has stemmed into me thinking of other would-be kings. I will only pull from existing lore, and I will not make up any characters from scratch. This is all based on the lore and just my opinion. So please, if your small council is different, great. It might be very different. I kind of took some big leaps here. So please tell me your small council in the comments, and you be respectful of mine, I'll be respectful of yours, right? The split, as we said, is the Braxton Beesbury trial by combat, in which he fights Jaehaeys Targaryen. In the real timeline of the books, the old king fights Braxton, but in this, or he kills Braxton, but in this one, he dies. So then his eldest son, Aemon Targaryen, takes the throne. I have put a lot of thought, so this is just me kind of covering Stinger really quick, and then we're going to move on to the small council. I put a lot of thought into Stinger's punishment. But the conclusion I came up with was it's not that important. He may be executed, right? But that might piss people off if they kill off Stinger, right? Because he did technically, it was a trial by combat. He was supposed to fight for his life. If he kills Jaehaeys, will he be executed? Maybe, but that might cause issues. So I was like, I don't really see him not being punished, though. So then I was thinking maybe he takes the black. Maybe he's exiled. And then I had the conclusion, that's not what this video is. Whatever Aemon chooses to do with Stinger, he chooses to do with Stinger. I'm just going to move on with what his small council would be. For the sake of argument, I think that Stinger takes the black. But if you think he would be executed straight up, I don't see that changing my small council. So you can go ahead and believe that, and that's cool. But I don't think that really changes what I have in mind for his small council. So I'm moving on. Whether Stinger dies or not, all we know is that he kills Jaehaeys, Aemon takes over, punishes Stinger in whichever way he chooses, and then builds his small council, right? Did I finish this one? Yeah, I did. So let's talk about King Aemon Targaryen. So King Aemon, the first Targaryen, he would take the throne quickly after and take full control of the kingdom. This isn't going to be one of those puppet kings, right? He would be at age 29 in 48 AC or 84 AC. His first act would be taking care of Braxton, however he would do that, and then would eventually name an heir. I think he would do like his father did and name Balon, not his daughter. I know this seems controversial, and it is, because, the entire Song of Ice and Fire timeline's pretty sexist, right? So hear me out. This seems controversial, but he is his father's son. So he was even like, you know, the eldest daughter wasn't in the timeline for Jaehaeys, right? So even Jaehaeys, when Aemon dies, he doesn't put Rhaenyra as his heir. Instead, he chooses Balon. So I think that Aemon is his father's son, and he would follow this male progenitor, and he gets to do what he wants. Viserys was a weird case, right? Choosing a female heir happened a few times. It definitely did. Maegor the Cruel, some other, when there was no other Targaryen to choose, they chose a female. But more often than not, if there was an elder male, they choose the older male, right? So as much as I disagree with it, because of course the queen that never was would make a great queen. Check out my Jaehaeys timeline. What if not Jaehaeys? Laenor, sorry, my Laenor Velaryon king. But I love the queen that never was. But I don't see Aemon making her his heir. I think he's going to make his younger brother Balon his heir, so not his daughter. So yeah, I think he would be big on keeping his male, keeping his heir male. Plus, Balon would have a male heir already at this point, and it would be Viserys. So he might be thinking about the line of succession. He's like, well, I don't have a male heir. I'm going to name Balon. And then he already has Viserys. I don't think Daemon was born yet, but that's neither here nor there. We know that there's an heir. We know the timeline is mostly secure. So almost eventually it would become King Viserys. Maybe. Okay, so now let's get to his actual small council. So first is Hand. And I know what you're thinking. He's gonna just keep Barth, Septim Barth, who's been Hand of the King for a super long time. And even in my Braxton Beesbury, I was like, I don't think he would change too much because he's going to keep Barth. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't think he would keep Barth. Okay, so Hand of the King, Balon Targaryen. When I first talked about this what if during my Braxton Beesbury vid, I thought it would be Septim Barth. But the more I think about it, Balon makes perfect sense. The two brothers are best friends. They were joined at the hip. They did everything together. He is Aemon's heir now. I don't think there is someone Aemon trusts more than Balon, right? It's like an Aenys and Maegor thing, but not as violent, right? Two strong dragon riders running the realm together. So just like what their grandpa Aenys did, why have just one brother do it when you can have two, and two strong dragon riders are running the kingdom? But of course, Aenys' brother was Maegor. But now Aemon's brother is Baelor, and they're, right? Is it Baelor? Balon. Oh my God. I knew that sounded weird. Is Balon, and Balon's just as good of a fighter and strong and all this other stuff. And he would make perfect sense of like, no, I want to run the kingdom together. Like, we're both in our 20s. We're cool. Let's run it together. So there we go. Hand of the King, in my opinion, not Septim Barth. I also think Jaehaeys was an outlier for wanting Barth. And no one's going to argue with Jaehaeys. But Jaehaeys saw something in Barth that no one else did. He was his closest friend. He was his advisor. Would Aemon know? Would Aemon care? Right? It's weird to have a low-born septum who's not even he's not even a high septum, right? Like, he's just a septum, right? It's weird to have the dude who was taking care of the libraries to be Hand. Jaehaeys recognized how good of a leader Barth is, but would Aemon? Would Balon? I think they're like, no, the old king had a really long run. It's time to do things our way. And I think he would say, Barth, you're awesome. You're great. See you later, dude. Go back to your books. Go back to riding your donkey, whatever you do, right? Okay, so next one we got here is the Lord Commander. So I wanted to do a quick one here. Is Giles Morgan, who was Lord Commander in 84 AC. No changes here. Giles has been with Jaehaeys his entire reign, though he's an old man at this point. He's pretty much a legend. Yeah, Giles Morgan's awesome. So I don't see them changing Giles. Moving right on. Here's another quick one. Master of Whispers. None. I don't see them filling the seat of a Masters of Whispers at all. King Jaehaeys didn't have one. The only king to ever have one at this point is Maegor the Cruel. Why do things that only Maegor does? It's a bad look. I don't see Aemon wanting one, right? Okay, so here's a fun one. So, Master of Coin, Bywin Strong. So, if you guys aren't familiar with Jaehaeys' Small Council timeline, like I have to be in order to write this video, he has two, right? In like, there's two Master. Well, he has more. There's Rigo Draz, but then there's Martin Tyrell. Well, there's a Celtic first, Rigo Draz, and then there's a Tyrell, and then Braxton Beesbury. So we're not sure when the Tyrell stops and when Beesbury begins. So that's why I decided to go with none of them. And I'll explain it here. So I am not sure if Martin Tyrell at this time or Lyman Beesbury. And I assume that if it was Lyman as Master of Coin during Stinger's trial, Fire and Blood Volume 1 would have mentioned it. Yeah. So what I mean by that is if Lyman Beesbury was Jaehaeys' Master of Coin when he fights a Beesbury, I feel like it would have been brought up. I feel like they would have had one line like, well, the Master of Coin tried to tell him not to, or the Master of Coin gave him his blessing, or something. I think they would have mentioned Lyman Beesbury being from Beesbury. Well, Braxton Beesbury has a fight, right? So it makes me think it's Martin Tyrell then. Okay. So I assume it's Martin Tyrell, but secretly his wife, Florence Fossaway. And I think 25 years as Master of Coin is long enough. At that point, they would have been doing it for 25 years. Aemon wants his own men, and I love the idea of Bywin Strong. Lords of Harrenhal are always popular small council picks, right? The Lords of Harrenhal are treated really like they're really important lords. Like, we know that they're not Lords of the Trident like the Tullys are, but the like pretty much everyone who's ran Harrenhal at a certain point sits on a small, well, one from each family, right? The Strongs get into the small council, the Lord Haraway, like a lot of like, they're pretty high up there. And yeah, so Bywin Strong, Lord of Harrenhal, yeah, where was I? And looking to prove loyalty after his brother Lucamore Strong, Lucamore the Lusty, tarnished the Strong name, he would be eager to do a good job. Not much is known about Bywin, but I like this pick. Yeah, this one might be the one that I have less say in. Like, if you guys are like, I don't see Bywin Strong, what about this guy? Okay, cool. I really like the idea of putting a Strong in there. Also, you don't really know too much about Bywin, so it'd be really kind of cool to learn more about him. And I mean, the guy got Harrenhal mostly because of his brother. So you think that they would be like, hey, your brother turned out to have a bunch of wives and we had to take care of him. Do you want to, like, rule? So I don't know. I really like this pick. But, you know, let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, so Master of Laws. Aemon was Master of Laws during 84 AC when Jaehaeys has his trial of combat with Stinger and then dies in this timeline, right? So we do need to fill Master of Laws. So my first thought was like, oh, I'm going to keep Barth in as Hand, and then I'll just put Balon in as Master of Laws, like how Aemon was Jaehaeys' Master of Laws. And the more I thought, no, I think Balon would just be his Hand. So who for Master of Laws? Well, who is the biggest supporter later on for his daughter? A big, like, literally connected through marriage, because Aemon is married to Jocelyn Baratheon, and that would be Bormund Baratheon. Bormund Baratheon is the mother-in-law and half-uncle. So he is his, brother. He is his brother-in-law and technically half-uncle. Keeping the powerful Lord of Stormlands close would be very smart. Bormund is known to be strong and unmoving. I think that's perfect for a Master of Laws. You want somebody strong and stubborn, stuck in their ways for Master of Laws. No, these are the laws, right? Well, maybe you don't always, but I think that it fits. Though we know in the main timeline that he was very fond of his niece, Aemon's daughter, Rhaenys, and pushed for her at the Council of 101, which is way later. Remember, this is just 84. She is only 10 at this point. right? Making him Master of Laws might help convince him that Balon is a worthy heir. And maybe I just wrote it in my head, but I just assume Borman being Jocelyn Baratheon's brother and, Aemon being so close to that family. I think that maybe a lot of Borman's love for Rhaenys was his love for Aemon, right? And it's his niece, but this is his brother-in-law. And I think even if he was like, dude, you're taking away my niece's birthright, come in here, join my council, keep Balon in check, get to know him, and let me know what you think. Maybe it would work out, maybe it won't. But I think it's a good fit. I think Borman Baratheon is a perfect for Master of Laws. Okay, we only got 2 left, and we've been saving Master of Ships. And y'all be tripping if you don't know who's Master of Ships at 84 AC, who I'm going to pick. Of course, I'm going to pick Corlys Velaryon. Come on. This would be young Corlys, who's 29 at the time. I'm not sure if his grandpa dies to make Corlys Lord of Tides yet. We're not sure if it happened yet. But either way, or if it was very soon. But either way, Corlys was a legend already at this point, whether or not he was Lord of the Tides or not. And if Aemon wants a small council made of the strongest lords of his generation, he's the same age as Aemon, even though he marries his daughter soon. He's the same age as Aemon, right? You're trying to build. If my thesis, right? My what word am I looking for? Not thesis, but my overall theme. There you go. Of this small council is younger guys of Aemon's generation, his brother, right? Toss in a couple legends, but mostly contemporaries. Like, hey, the old guys had the chance to run. Let us run. And man, you pick Corlys. Whether or not Corlys is master of the ships or not, he's not married to Rhaenys yet because Rhaenys is only 10. But man, you take the dude who's been taking these like amazing voyages. He's a living legend. You want him on your small council. You want him on your small council. You do. Where was I? Corlys in the show. Corlys is a shoo-in. Thank you, Past Mark, for all those typos, just to keep me on my toes. I think I just leave typos in to just keep future me on my toes. I see Corlys marrying Rhaenys in this timeline as well, and really pushing for Aemon to make her his heir. So yeah, I don't see the whole Rhaenys queen that ever was thing going away, right? I just see it getting kicked down the road. She's a 10-year-old girl. Balon's got a weaker claim, but more support, right? So Balon's going to be it right now. Corlys, if he still marries Rhaenys when she comes of age, he's much older than her, though. With Borman, it might still flip. Remember, this is just what I think the small council would be right after he becomes king. Things might change. The story continues to move, and we might still be headed towards that civil war, right? I don't think this solves all issues. I just think this makes the most sense for Aemon to pick from what I understand about Aemon. So yeah, I really do think that eventually he's going to make a push for Rhaenys, or at least be named, something important. Like, no, I think Corlys understands what he's marrying and that he wants something out of it. Or maybe he doesn't try to marry Rhaenys in this. Maybe he tries to marry somebody else. We don't know. So yeah, Grand Maester Elisar, who? Some Maester who was Grand Maester at this time, right? He was Bennifer's replacement. He was slightly younger, though he won't last more than 5 years. Yeah, I saved the lamest for last. Elisar, who? I don't know. He was Grand Maester when this happened. You don't get to pick your Grand Maester, right? It's like your friend's nose. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your Grand Maester's nose. Is that what I was trying to say? All right, what do you guys think? Do you think that I'm way off? Do you think that Aemon would have kept Septim Barth and pretty much not changed anything and not even tried to take control of the small council, not try to take control of the kingdom? Do you think that, like, everything I made was wrong? Cool. Let me know. Tell me your reasoning. Remember, opinions are like assholes. That doesn't mean you have to be one. So let me know your thoughts respectfully in the comments. And yeah, I think I did pretty good with this one. I kind of like the whole, like, younger people of Jaehaeys is like kind of a lot of future legends in here. You notice how I didn't say Otto Hightower anywhere? I'm not a big fan. All right. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, that's all I got. Like I said, let me know in the comments. Peace.